Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Edith and I like to read books and yap about them to you guys. And today it is officially time for the official Summerween Readathon. This is hosted by Gabby Reads, so thank you to Gabby Reads for hosting this. I will link her channel down below along with Katie's reading because I found out about this readathon through her. Love her, and she will also be doing a video on it. And maybe some other Summerween creators that I just love because I like, you know, telling people what I like to watch. For this readathon, I'm now officially a few days in, so if you guys see me looking exactly like this again later in the video, just know, yeah, we're refilming the intro because it was so long to start with. The Summerween Readathon is a 7-day challenge where we get 5 prompts that you then have to read a book for each prompt. I decided to take it one step further and say, what if I gave myself 2 free picks and made it trying to read 7 books in 7 days? So that's what we're gonna do in this video. Now, when I say that, they are not 7 full-fledged books. Maybe someday in the future I'll actually try that, but like I also want to do some other fun stuff in this entire video, so obviously don't want to be stuck reading 24/7 for a week. But our TBR, I'm gonna go quickly over them, and then I promise you guys when we actually read the books I will go further into them, except for one book that I've already read and no, I didn't talk about, so I'll tell you guys quickly about that one. But for the prompt, read a book at dark or at night. In the dark or at night. I will be reading my final Goosebumps book, which is The Haunted Mask. I actually read this last night. That's all I'm gonna say because I just filmed my thoughts on it. But my final Goosebumps book. Quick, easy to read in a little hour at night in the dark. Super cute. And then for the easiest one, which was just read a thriller or horror book, I decided to pick up The Institute by Stephen King. Now this is the book that when I'm filming this, I've already read it, and no, I didn't say anything about what it was about. It's basically like a Stranger Things sort of story. We have this very smart 12-year-old kid who gets kidnapped and taken to the Institute, where some other kids are also there with some special abilities, and then they do these really disgusting tests and trials on these kids to try and use their powers for something really creepy. So, stay tuned to see what I ended up thinking about that one. Then we have Read a New to You author, and I'm finally getting into somebody I have been so excited about, which is none other than T. Kingfisher with What Moves the Dead. This is our first, actually no, this is one of the shorter books for this video. There are a few of those under 200 pages, just so they're easier to read in a day. Very excited about getting into T. Kingfisher though. Then we have Read a Book with Pink on the cover to fit with our entire carnival theme, which is the theme of this year's Summerween. And for this I picked 80s Ghosts, which again I get into further in the video what that's about when I do read it. So very exciting though, and it has such a retro pink cover that it just needed to be used for this prompt. And then we have Read a Book that is less than 250 pages for the last prompt. And for this I actually picked The Risk by S.T. Abbey, which is the first book in the Mindfuck series. This is a reread for me. It's not fully horror, but it's like a mix between dark romance, thriller, honestly a little bit of horror too, if you really think about it. It's going to be a quick and easy read, and I need to reread them for my book club and because the show is happening and all of this, so we will also be doing that. Then for our 2 free picks, I'm actually not going to tell you guys what our 2 free picks are because they were bought in the bookstore and I just filmed me talking about what I ended up getting at the bookstore, so we don't need to get into it. But I did 2 free picks, which I ended up buying at the bookstore and took you guys along for it. So without further ado, let's get into this reading vlog where I also do some Summerween spooky activities. We watch some movies, carve some watermelon, journal a little bit. We have a lot of spooky stuff to get into. So without further ado, let's get right on into this Summerween Readathon. All right, we officially have less than 110 pages left, and I just got ready for bed, and it is only like 6:30 or something. I think I ate dinner, and now it is, yes, 6:30, and I have to stay awake until 9 p.m. anyway to see the first look for tomorrow, or for tonight's episode of Love Island. So let's see if we cannot finish this before then. Alright, first of all, there is a spider, a little flying spider, on the curtain behind you guys. So if I at any point in this video get up and scream, it is because it has started moving, but I've decided to film this anyway because we have had an amazing start to Summerween Readathon by reading this entire book in one day. And I officially feel invincible. I'm all still a little bit scared because I'm like, I don't want to spend all days this week lying in bed reading, and that's kind of what I did today. I baked a little bit, but that's about all. We've already been through what I did earlier in the day, but since the last time I talked to you guys, I locked the fuck in to this book and flew through it. I'm obsessed. I'm actually obsessed. I actually don't know what my rating is gonna be, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. Honestly, I'm gonna make this talk short because I feel like I've been yapping and yapping every time I put on the camera, but lately I have started thinking about maybe not rating books unless they are like a 5-star or like a very low rated book, because I feel like I keep giving books between 4 to 4.75 stars. And I'm like, okay, but is it really that, or can I just not get myself to give a book less than 4 stars? Because in my mind, I would say this is not a 5-star, but a 4-star feels too little for what I felt for it. So like a 4.5. I just feel like I've been giving out 4.5s like I used to give out 5 stars. But maybe I just read some really great books, because I've also been reading my past few reads, like 2.5 or some stuff like that. So I'm gonna stick to a 4.5 for this book. And I really want to watch the show. I might actually sit down and watch an episode right now. I don't know, but a 4.5 because I really, really loved this. I really loved the ending of this. I loved some of the different stuff it brought up. I loved a little bit of Stephen King's own political opinions was sprinkled into this, but in like a, I don't want to say a classy way, but like in a good way. I didn't think it was too much. But obviously, if you don't agree with Stephen King's political opinions, this one might not be for you, because I feel like there was a lot of it. In here, it was just very, like, it was very woven into the story. So it didn't feel like Stephen King coming at you and telling you that he hates Trump. He just kind of told you through some of these characters and like a bunch of other stuff. It was just super interesting, and I will say maybe more like a sci-fi, like a dark sci-fi than an actual horror book. Because we do have these kids with magic abilities, and I guess again, could just be horror, but I'm pretty sure this is classified as sci-fi somewhere. But just a great start to Summerween, because this means I read 482 pages just today. And I might even start our next read now before Love Island, because it is still only, okay, it's 8:40, which means in 20 minutes the Love Island first look comes out. We're still not doing Goosebumps today. We might do this tomorrow or Sunday. One of the days in the weekend I kind of want to do this. And again, this is going to be such a quick and easy read, so we're going to be saving that won't be doing that tonight. Want to go to bed sort of early. But we might start one of the ones on my Kindle. But I'll make a decision on that and we will see what happens. Plans for tomorrow is then to continue and probably try to finish whatever book I end up picking up on the Kindle right now. And then maybe Goosebumps, maybe something else. We will see what tomorrow brings. But we're going book shopping tomorrow with a different friend than I had originally planned because the first friend got sick. And then I was a little bit desperate because I was like, I need to go book shopping and I could do it alone, but I kind of want to be social. And so I invited my like other best friend and I was like, do you want to go book shopping with me tomorrow? And maybe sit at a cute little cafe and do some reading. And luckily she wanted to. So we're getting a little bit out of the house tomorrow, which is why I kind of want to pick up, I think I want to pick up 80s Ghost because I feel like there's a bigger chance that I can like start that tonight and somehow also finish it tomorrow. Sorry, my Kindle is like refusing to open up the list I'm like asking it to open up. But I will find out which book I'm going to be reading without that. We also didn't do any like journaling or anything tonight. Yeah, I logged into this more than I thought I would. So I kind of felt like just finishing that up instead of doing anything else. And I do love physical reading more than audiobooking. I don't audiobook that often. I will see you all in the morning. Good morning, you guys. I did not end up talking to you guys yesterday, but we did all the stuff I was supposed to do yesterday, including reading 2 more books for this readathon, and book shopping and buying our next read, and 1 more read for this entire challenge, even though I was only supposed to buy 1 book, but it happens. But let's actually start with the reading update. I started 80s Ghosts the night I last talked to you guys and read like a few chapters in that one. And then I read the last like 4 hours of that one yesterday. First, I read a little bit in the morning and then on the train ride. And then when I got home, then I went to the library and read for like an hour and a half there. And then I got home and finished the last like hour and a half. Now, I don't have it open on my Kindle because I did give it back to Kindle Unlimited, but I ended up giving this book a 3 stars. I'm actually questioning what I rated it now. We meet this ghost hunting crew that has a YouTube channel, and they're kind of failing. They're like faking a bunch of stuff to get views and stuff like this because they need the money and stuff. But then they get the opportunity to visit this high school that is supposedly haunted, obviously. And they decide to go. A bunch of stuff, weird stuff happens while they're filming this video, all of that sort of stuff. And I am a big Sam and Kobe fan. So obviously, I really like the aspects of that. I just felt like it missed a lot of opportunities to like create some kind of tension and do some scary stuff. And then it kind of just lost it when it was trying to do that. I don't know. I didn't feel scared. And I feel like when I watch like a Sam and Kobe video, I can get like scared. Honestly, that's mostly it. But I feel like it's kind of an important thing because I was excited about this specifically because I think ghost hunting stuff can be really scary. But apparently it wasn't. Let me just see if I can't see here. So all in all, a quick, fun, easy read. And if you want to read it, I would 100% recommend to read it. And then last night I was like, you know what? Let's keep these good vibes going. First of all, I did the little jack-o'-lantern, but in a watermelon. What do they call it? A melon lantern or something? I don't remember what they called it in Summerween, but I carved up a melon and made a fun little drink with that, which was on our bingo card for this entire thing while watching the Blair Witch Project for the first time. Kind of boring. Just gonna put it out there. Kind of boring. I was expecting more. It had like a few, like two scenes, honestly, that I can remember that I was like, that is kind of spooky, but that was about it. And then there was not a single character I was rooting for. Like, I kind of understood why the Blair Witch did what she did, because they were so freaking annoying. But I know it's a classic. I know a lot of people love it, and I know it kind of started this entire, like, docu movie thing, and I do enjoy that genre, so just didn't love the movie. But I had a fun time with all of that. So then after that, I was like, let's keep these spooky vibes going even more. And the minute the sun started to set, I took out Goosebumps, The Haunted Mask, and read this while it slowly got dark. You can see in the video I had a reading light, but it like grew darker and darker. Like it lost power slowly. I'm pretty sure you should be able to tell in the video that like every time I turn a page, it just gets darker and darker. So I did end up turning on my lamp after I stopped filming to read the last couple of pages, because otherwise I was going to be like this. This, however, I gave a 4 stars. I think this one might be a top Goosebumps book for me. Would I recommend saving it and reading it around Halloween time? Yeah, because it does take place on literal Halloween night, and I just feel like the vibes were immaculate. R.L. Stine always writes the atmosphere really nicely, but I just feel like this one was top-notch atmosphere. Like, it was so many descriptions of like the wind howling and the jack-o'-lanterns everywhere and people running around in costumes, and it was just so nostalgic. And I say that and I think I've gone trick-or-treating like twice in my life. But still, you know, there's just something about the entire idea of trick-or-treating that is so cute. And also just the concept was just really scary. Like, she gets this Halloween mask for Halloween, and then it starts like changing her voice, and it's hard to like take off. And then when they were supposed to try and take it off, and her friend was like, there's no like bottom, like it was literally like all of a sudden melted into her, and I was like, oh, that's actually a fucking scary situation. So obsessed with this. Honestly, maybe the Welcome to Dead House is still above this one, but this is a close second to the ones I've read. I am upset that this is my last Goosebump book for a while, because I think they're expensive on Kindle, and I don't know. Maybe I'll start like ordering them from online, even though I kind of want to be the type who finds them in like hand-me-down stores, but ooh, I could check Facebook Marketplace. Okay, I'm gonna figure that one out on my own. But that does mean that we are now on day 3, and we have already read 3 books from this. Which brings us to what we also did yesterday, which we went book shopping. And I picked out 4 books. I picked out The Lamb, The Body, The Place Where They Buried Your Heart, and Wolfworm by T. Kingfisher. And then I spun the wheel, and the book that won was The Place Where They Buried Your Heart. And you guys can ask my friend, I literally went yes when it won. I almost missed this on the shelf. I went back like a second time because I couldn't find that much in the thriller section, so I went back to the horror section. And I read the title and looked at it, and I was like, I don't recognize the cover, but I know I've heard about this. Yeah, Kaylee on TikTok, but she's also on YouTube, read this not that long ago and gave it 5 stars. And I was like, okay, so I actually kind of need that one. And then it won, and I was like, yes. And it will in fact be our 4th read, and the read I'm going to be starting today. But then I was like, okay, I do need one more for a prompt, and I would love to have more physical horror books. And I would love to have more physical Stephen King books. So I picked up The Body, which is in fact the book behind the Stand By Me movie, which I haven't seen. And so I picked this up, and we will be reading it in this video as well. So it kind of cancels out the fact that I just bought 2 books to add it to my TBR, because I will also be reading them. Plus I also read 2 other books for my TBR. So it kind of just cancels out everything, if that makes any sense. So the plans for today is to get at least halfway through this. If I can finish it today, obviously I will, but like, I don't want to push it, because I know for a fact that all the other books can be read like this in a day. Without further ado, let's get on with this thing, and maybe I just will wait and not talk to you guys until it's been a few days. Then we'll do longer updates, but fewer of them. Yeah. I am obsessed. I cannot believe I almost overlooked this yesterday at the bookstore. Not in the way, because obviously, like I've said, I've heard a lot about this lately from Kaylee, one of my favorite content creators right now. I'd heard about this before, but it was the idea that like yesterday in the bookstore, I literally looked at the horror section. Felt like I looked every single book through and was like, okay, I found 2 here. Went over to the thriller section, found the 1 Stephen King book, and then I was like, okay. Looked at the horror section again, and then randomly I was like, wait, why does that title sound familiar? Took it down, looked it up, and I almost missed this. And I honestly don't think that I don't know when I would have picked this up otherwise, because I hadn't put it on like a list for myself to like remember to buy it sometime in the future. So maybe I would have never thought about this again unless like Kaylee talked about it again in a future video. And think about what I would have missed out on. This was so much like it. I know Kaylee I read her review before reading it and also now after I finished it, just to be like, yeah, agreed. She said it was kind of like a mix of Monster House, which I will be watching tomorrow because I need to see how accurate that is. But she said it was a mix between Monster House, Poltergeist, which I also have not seen, It, which 100% agree, and Stranger Things Season 4, which again, would actually 100% agree. It just had such a creepy vibe. Honestly, I think if you like Stephen King, you'll like this, because I feel like she did this thing he does, which is create this kind of small town, scary, spooky vibe where you feel so much for so many different characters. I think she might have done a little bit better from the few Stephen King books I've read. I don't know why, I just felt a little bit more connected to these characters than I've done to any of those, but I will still compare them because it's like this entire small town vibe where it's like creepy, and it's like there's some people who like, you're like, how can you not sense this? And then we have our like main group of people who sense it, and I loved every single person in that group. This was just so good. And like when I started it this morning, I was genuinely not thinking I was gonna read more than half. I was like, okay, you just have to get through half and then it's fine, because we're already kind of like a day ahead. Not really, but kind of. Because our next 3 books, I can't see how I cannot finish them in a day, but love this. And like I said, we'll be watching Monster House tomorrow, possibly rewatching both the It movies, maybe even Poltergeist if I can find that anywhere. This was just so amazing. And the next 2 days are gonna be kind of cloudy, a little bit of rain here and there, some of that sort of stuff. And I do only have 3 short books left. I'm going to be saving The Body by Stephen King till the end of this readathon. So tomorrow we're going to be reading one of the shorter books on the Kindle, either The Risk or What Moves the Dead, depending on if I'm in the mood for a little bit of a break with a little bit of romance, or if I want to stick to strictly horror and read What Moves the Dead. But I'll find that out tomorrow, so I want to read one of those. And again, those are both so short, under 200 pages, so should be like quick and easy reads, honestly. So I want to read one of those from start to finish tomorrow. I want to watch Monster House and possibly some other stuff. I do want to journal. Tomorrow I have to journal. For now, however, for tonight, I'm not going to do anything more. I'm gonna lay here, look at some YouTube until Love Island First Look comes out, and then I'm gonna go to bed. Alright, you guys, I think it's time for like a quick little daily update here. The day is far from over, but I read today's book this morning, actually, right after I finished today's episode of Love Island. I read What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher, which was for the prompt, like from a new author, because I've actually never read a T. Kingfisher book before, and I will be reading more of them. I gave this book a 3.5. I think. If that's incorrect, I'll put what it actually was, but I'm pretty sure I gave it a 3.5. It was very creepy, very atmospheric. I really liked the writing. I was a little bit confused about some things. I don't know. I think I didn't go into it expecting like a fantasy element also. So like my brain had to like reevaluate what was going on, because then they would mention like Americans and Europe and England and stuff like that, and I would be like, okay, so is it our world just back in time, or is it a different world? I think it was like, I don't know, our world but with like fictional wars or something going on. Basically, we meet this person. I saw some discourse on whether or not the main character is trans or non-binary. I personally didn't get that from the book, but maybe I'm just stupid. I did notice that we never like specifically said if it was a man or a woman, but I don't know if that was like a deliberate discussion. They talked a lot about a lot of different stuff that I maybe didn't fully get, but it was very atmospheric. I will probably at some point be reading the other books in the trilogy, and just because I really love the covers and the fact that you can get them in the like smaller hardbacks, I will be putting them on my wish list because I think that would just be perfect. But yeah, a really nice read. It was quick and easy. It took me about 2 hours and like 7 minutes according to the ambiance I had playing on in the background. So again, super quick, super easy, which is exactly what I wanted. And so will our next read be. I don't know if I can even show this cover because they are scandalous. If I ever were to buy this series, I would want the like completed series in one book with the black cover with the, is it an apple with a knife in it or something? Doesn't really matter, but I would like that cover if I ever got these books physically. But it is in fact The Risk, which is the first book in the Mindfuck series, which we will be reading tomorrow. So I finished that book very early today, and then kind of just sat on the couch all day, was a little bit creative. Made a bunch of journal spreads while watching Monster House, and now that I've seen it, I will 100% agree with Kaylee that The Place Where They Buried Your Heart is in fact a mix of Monster House and It. And then of course I had to rewatch It, which I just finished. And before we did that, I did bake our sweet treat, which was the green cookies. They came out tasting really nice. They don't look that green, and I don't know why I keep trying to turn things green, because green food just kind of looks moldy. No, actually I wouldn't say it looks moldy because it's obvious that it's a coloring thing, but green and food just doesn't really mix. But I personally really like the way they turned out. And now for dinner I have what I just showed you guys. I made little stuffed peppers, but I cut them in like jack-o'-lanterns because I've been seeing that since like last fall, and I never did it last fall. I think I made stuffed peppers, but then I totally forgot about the idea of carving them, so I knew I had to do that in this video. And when they're done, we will be putting on The Conjuring 2, because I don't think I've ever seen that one. I think we should just get on with it, because like I said, my timer just went off, so I think dinner is ready. But I just need to give you guys an update because I feel like a lot happened today, but it was all great. It was all good. I'm so happy. Alright, it is a few days later and it is officially the last day of the Summerween Readathon, but I finished our last book this morning. So I am in fact here to finish this video off. But we successfully read 7 books in 7 days. Half of those were less than 200 pages in novellas, but we still read 3 full-fledged books, and we did still read 1,779 pages. So I think that's really well done. But since we last spoke, I finished, this is the second sidetrack, but I finished The Risk, which is the first book in the Mindfuck series. Like I said, it was a reread and I'm not changing my rating, which I looked it up and I'm pretty sure I gave every single book in this series 4 stars. And I will say the series is just like overall a 4-star series for me. So I'm not going to change that rating, but I will say I don't think I would rate it 4 stars if I was reading it for the first time now. I still 100% think the series as a whole is a 4-star. I just don't think this individual book is a 4-star. I totally forgot how quickly the romance happens. I mean, the first book is literally less than 200 pages and there's already the relationship going on, but I do get it because there's so much other stuff going on in that plot. And I still think it's a great book, and I'm interested to see how they're gonna bring it to life on a screen. And I am excited to continue rereading this series. I might just do it like on my own because they are such quick books, so I could just read them in an afternoon while I'm filming another reading vlog or something. But I am interested to get back into it, and I flew through them the first time. So that brings us to The Body by Stephen King, which was our last read of this readathon. And I think I'm landing on also a 4 stars for this, but an actual 4 stars. This was actually really fun to read. I wouldn't say it was scary. I would actually say if you liked My Friends by Frederick Bachman, but specifically the like kids in the painting story, you would like this because it has the same, like, it's summer, a young friend group filled with boys that all have like kind of bad stuff happening at home and stuff like that. So it was just really interesting, not scary by any means, but it made me want to watch the Stand By Me. If anything, it was kind of sad at the end, kind of like My Friends with Frederick Bachman. But we did read 2 Stephen King books in this video, and I have put a lot more on my wish list now. I want to get them all in these specific covers, so that way they look really nice next to each other. So I did change it up because I'd put it on my wish list, but with a different cover, but I actually really like this version of that cover, and I just think it's gonna look better on the bookshelves if they are like this same style. Like I said, that is the end of this video because I don't really have that many more things to do. We did all the things we were supposed to do. We watched a scary movie, we watched multiples actually, we fulfilled all of the prompts that we were supposed to, plus 2 extra books. I found a new favorite horror movie and honestly also a new favorite Goosebumps book. Did I just call this a horror movie? You guys know what I mean. And watched some great movies, had a fun time, did all of the stuff, the Summerween stuff that I didn't get to do in my last video, but that I've been really excited about. So I'm very happy, and it's gonna be a little bit hard for me to let go of horror for a little bit right now, but I'll be back. Don't you worry. So if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on your bell notifications so you get notified every single time I post a new video. And once again, thank you to Gabby Reads for hosting the entire readathon. Make sure to go watch her videos on all of this, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!